Hey guys, what you doing? It's TheKillerDoll here, and today we are finally going to be talking about the ProJared cheating scandal. But not to the extent you think I am, because I'm not gonna cover everything in detail that's already happened. I specifically want to talk about the current comments made by Jared and the adulteress Holly Conrad. Wow, Holly Conrad, I could not have fucked that up anymore. How are you a YouTuber when you're
dyslexic?
God, I don't fucking know. And then we're just gonna call it after that, because personally, I could not give less of a fuck about this situation unless it's about the important parts that we will talk about. AKA not the cheating, could not care less about that. So I was gonna wait till I chilled out about this whole situation. If you know me in my past, cheating pisses me the fuck off. But I was gonna wait to say anything, but Holly and Jared just released their sides to the story, and I'm never gonna be chill, so we're just gonna talk about it now. Okay. So for those of you who completely dodged this, congratulations on that. That must have been very difficult for you to do. Congrats on that achievement. Let me catch you up to speed real quick. And by real quick, I mean real quick. This is an abridged version because honestly, y'all could read the tweets for yourself. On May 8th, Heidi, Jared's now ex-wife, came forward saying that Jared had been seeing Commander Holly behind her back for months. Heidi has claimed that she has proof and then went on to talk about how Jared treated her like shit, and people at this time, since Heidi brought it up to an extent, started coming forward about how Jared sent them nudes and they were underage at the time. Please keep this in mind. This is genuinely the biggest thing here that's come from this. I could give less of a fuck about the whole marriage and cheating drama. This is the biggest thing that needs to be discussed, and will be, because it only gets worse from here. On May 9th, Commander Holly said some stupid shit. That's pretty much the gist of it. I'm just saying. She's deleted these tweets since then, but thank God for screenshots. Am I right, boys? Holly made a statement saying you can't trust everyone on the internet, but you can trust her, of course, and then put her Twitter and Instagram account on private. Totally not suspicious at all, Holly. Last Friday, Jared finally made a statement about the whole thing, which might as well be your stereotypical, I didn't do nothing, but I'm sorry. Key thing to note here is that he never says anything about the sexting minor situation, which is arguably a bigger deal than him cheating on his wife. Speaking of cheating on his wife, he also uses polyamory as an excuse for cheating, but we'll get to that later. And now you're all caught up. How do you feel? Terrible? It's only gonna get worse, buddy. As I said, both Jared and Holly have released statements. However, I only read Jared's in the abridged summary. So now we have to talk about Holly's, and it's a fucking shit show. So let's talk about Holly's statement, because it really is a nightmare for this whole scandal. Just in general. Every side looks bad. So Holly starts off the thread by saying that she's going to tell her side now with receipts that she can legally share, and that there is no hate or vindictiveness, and that this is indeed the truth. And please remember, through this whole thread that consists of her blaming Heidi for everything, there's no hate or vindictiveness. None at all. My sarcasm is so thick you could probably cut it with a fucking knife, but honestly, who cares? That's literally all my channel consists of now. Ye motherfucking ha. So Holly starts off the side by mentioning that she's hospitalized herself, and she basically states this in order to say, it's okay to ask for mental health help when you need it. Okay, I'm going to get shit for this, but I feel like this should be said, and I'm sorry if I'm overstepping my boundaries, but I'm gonna say it. In my personal opinion, based off reading this whole thread, there is no need for Holly to say that she had hospitalized herself. There's no need for it. And put in context with the rest of the story, which we are going to be getting into, don't worry about that, I feel like this is almost her basically raising her I'm mentally ill card. Because this whole thread itself feels super manipulative and me based, and there was just no need for this. Like, there's no need to bring up your hospitalization on top of that. All right, said what I had to say. End opinion, kind of. So my opinion aside and evidence forward, somebody on Twitter decided to bring up the fact that she says that she was hospitalized on the 9th. However, apparently according to this dude on Twitter, she was deleting tweets during her stay at the hospital, apparently, which can't happen, because when you hospitalize yourself, your phone as well as a number of other things are taken away from you. Now a lot of people have been defending her, basically saying,
somebody else runs her account, you fuckhead, how
dare you? And I'm gonna call bullshit. Honestly, I feel like all of her tweets have always been her own. If anything, I feel like she got her one blue-haired friend to just go on her Twitter account for her. But the key thing here is that she started to delete shit. That's not suspicious at all, Holly. What the fuck are you thinking? So Holly then goes to talk about how she heard that Keemstar had called her a hoe, so she decided to make an art piece on it in art therapy in the hospital. Side note, you must have very, very shitty friends if they update you on the situation that made you hospitalize yourself while you're in the hospital. That doesn't make sense to me, but okay. Also, please keep in mind that she says you have to be able to laugh at some aspects of a crisis. It's actually very important for later. So the next thing Holly tackles is the whole ProJared sending nudes to minors situation, except she really doesn't tackle it at all. She simply calls it poor decisions, while later saying that apparently everyone who's come forward is lying because she's seen relevant receipts which prove Jared confirmed the consent and ages of those individuals he interacted with. She then says that these actions have legal ramifications, so she can't talk about it anymore. To me, this seems like Holly's just trying to protect Jared at this point because there are a shit ton of pictures out there. Essentially, Holly just gave a big ol' fuck you to anyone who's come forward about this situation, and that's really rough to see. Especially with the thinly veiled threat in the next thing where she says basically anybody posting the pictures can get hit with revenge porn if they're consenting adults. Well, I hate to break it to you, Holly, but there's not really a lot of consenting adults in this situation. There's a lot of minors. Just figured I'd clear that up for you, since you can't get that apparently. Way to double down on being a piece of shit, Holly. Congratulations. And you call yourself a mental health advocate. So Holly then goes into detail saying that Heidi wanted Jared to explore his feelings for Holly early in 2018, and that Heidi at the same time had consented to this. However, it seems like Heidi had later revoked that consent since she didn't want Jared to see Holly like that anymore. Which, and let me make this clear, is where polyamory turns to cheating. When not every party in this is communicating and is truthful and is consenting to this kind of relationship anymore, it's cheating. Holly then goes on to say that she texted ProJared later a different night, basically saying that he needs to leave this abusive relationship. However, it's also brought up that Heidi had essentially threatened their D&D show the entire time and used that as leverage, which is genuinely a shitty thing for her to do on her part. Again, I think I need to just make it clear, I don't agree that Heidi is 100% innocent in this situation at all. So Holly basically then goes into saying that Jared's friends have seen Heidi basically abuse him, and they've had to sit him down a couple times for an intervention and basically say that he needs to leave her. Now, Holly, I hate to call you a liar, but I'm certainly not going to call you a truther on this. Holly, where are his friends now? I'm just kind of curious because you're claiming that they really cared about him and stuff, but nobody has come forward besides Peanut Butter Gamer, and he's actually retracted his statement saying that he was led to believe a certain thing. So Holly, just wondering, where are his friends now that were so worried about him but are now, like, nowhere to be found? Because I'm gonna be real with you, Holly, the only things that have happened to him currently are that Normal Boots has bailed on him, the Normal Boots crew has deleted their videos with him, and so have the Game Grumps, because of the whole sending nudes to minors situation. Could it be he burned his bridges when he finally got called out for sending dick pics to minors? Could be. Holly then goes on to say that Jared got Heidi to leave after 4 attempts of separating because she legally obtained pictures and texts to use for revenge, and that Jared didn't divorce Heidi on Twitter, and that Heidi made the first post full of false information. So this is now just leading me to think that Holly and Jared think we're fucking stupid because, Twitter has timestamps. Jared posted on May 8th and Heidi posted at 11:13 p.m. the same day. However, there is one catch. If Holly is referring to Heidi's private Facebook account, keyword meaning private, which means that mostly friends and family can see the posts, not really anybody outside that, then Heidi still only mentioned getting cheated on, not the divorce. So technically, Holly, you're wrong. Jared was technically the first person to bring up the divorce. Let's just get that straight, Holly. Holly then goes on to using Heidi's private, friends and family only, Facebook posts against her. Most of the things she brings up regarding Heidi gloating on Facebook are things that Heidi has said she's used as humor to cope with the whole situation. You know, that really rings a bell, bringing humor to cope with the situation. God, Holly, where could have I heard that from before? Oh yeah, it was with Keemstar calling you a side hoe, wasn't it? I mean, I guess it's okay if you do it, Holly, but if Heidi does it, it's the worst thing in the world. This hypocrisy just tastes so good. Like, it's so fresh. It's so juicy. Holly then goes on to say that if Heidi was really being abused, she wouldn't have went back to the house, and then completely contradicts herself by saying that leaving an abuser is difficult. But it's totally different when Jared and herself have to do it. I mean, it's just easy for Heidi specifically. Again, this hypocrisy is just delicious. I want to know the recipe. So then Holly ends all of this by basically making it about herself, and of course pandering to whatever remaining tweet hearts she has left, because she's so quirky with burbs. Get it? It's like birds, but quirky. By the way, Holly also posted on Instagram, basically saying for people to think about if their comments heal or if they hate. Holly, I'm gonna say this in the nicest way I can. I really don't think you're in a position to say this, considering you were in multiple positions with Jared in bed. Did ruining a marriage heal or hate, Holly? Did you stop to think about that? Basically, all I can get from this thread is that Holly holds no accountability and all she cares about is herself and, of course, her sweet Jared. Is passive-aggressive and summarized basically the same way as Jared's by saying, Heidi's crazy and we didn't cheat because we were in a polyamorous relationship. Again, let me reiterate, if one person withdraws consent regarding the whole polyamorous relationship thing, and if you still continue to see the person not involved in this monogamous relationship, it's done. It's cheating. Throughout every single statement Holly and also Jared have made, there is no accountability for their actions taken, when all Holly has done to begin with is be incredibly hypocritical. The first time being her initial statement about not trusting people on the internet, but to trust her because we know her. The second time being her saying Heidi can't cope with humor, but of course she can. The third time saying if Heidi was being abused, she should have stayed gone, but then saying it's hard to leave abusers. Holly is taking Jared's side and defending him against people literally coming forward and saying that he exposed himself to them via Snapchat as minors, which again I think is truly the grossest thing here. This is like the main argument, like fuck the whole cheating scandal. Holly is literally taking the side of somebody who exposed themselves to minors. Can we just say that really quick? Like, keep that as the main thing that you take away from this, if anything. It wasn't a poor decision, Holly, it's a fucking crime. And then, of course, when the going gets tough, Holly does what she does best and plays the victim card by posting on Instagram asking commenters to think if what they're saying is healing or hating, bringing up being hospitalized when it, again, in my own opinion, was not needed at all. She could have left it off by saying she just took a break. And everything in this is at Heidi. There is no personal accountability for her actions or even Jared's at all. Personally, if you want my complete opinion on this, this is a whole fucking dumpster fire. I feel like all the parties in this acted poorly, which does include Heidi. The only difference is I can actually empathize with her due to the manipulation situation. And basically, Jared and Heidi should have divorced a long time ago, and in no way was Holly fit to actually try to help, because apparently trying to help means sleeping with them. However, because it being a fucking dumpster fire where everybody has to take some blame, I feel like it shouldn't be skimmed over the fact that two people in particular have done the most fucked up shit in this scenario. How ProJared has sent minors nudes and Holly has defended him for doing this, plain and simple. She's literally defending him by just calling what he's done a poor choice. I forgot to mention this earlier, but better now than never. Holly spoke to Jared about one person who reached out to her about Jared sending nudes to minors, and she gave him the person's contact information despite not even talking to the person that reached out to her herself. Again, great way to handle a private matter, you fucking dunce. Now with how Jared's manipulated fans into sending him nudes, it's almost impossible to think that he wouldn't do this to Heidi and even Holly as well, which is why I feel like Holly's statement sounds very much so like Jared. So basically, in this situation, everyone's a fucking clown at this point. The only difference is, with one party, I can empathize. Another party is an actual creep for sending minors pictures of his fucking dick. And another party is just playing victim while defending the person who sent minors nudes. But yeah, that's gonna do it for this video. I actually have to tap out because this script was angry as it is. If I keep going, it's just gonna get worse. Again, I don't think Heidi's innocent at all in this situation. I feel like there is a lot going on. However, Heidi has never claimed to be innocent like Jared and Holly have. This whole situation's a nightmare. This is just my 2 cents on it. Feel free to form your own opinion. The tweets are still available. Kind of. Again, like I said, Holly's deleting everything. Again, I personally don't give a shit over the fucking cheating situation. That's why I kind of tried to skid over that. That's why I made that whole part basically abridged. My biggest things were them blaming polyamory on cheating. I actually have a really good friend who is in a polyamorous relationship, and because they talk and they trust each other, everything's fine. You know, exactly the opposite of this. Jared sent Miner's nudes, and Holly's backing him on this. I can't stress that enough. If there is one thing you take away from this, please let it be that. And that Holly's story has a lot of hypocrisy and holes in it, and while I will throw her a bone and say she doesn't need to explain every hole that's in the story, the hypocrisy speaks for itself. She can do one thing, but Heidi can't, and that's where I've just had like a really big issue with this, because she's been this hypocritical since this whole shitstorm started. But yeah, like I said, that's just my 2 cents on this situation. I just kind of wanted to talk about it, especially since, you know, Holly's literally defending someone sending Miner's nudes. I cannot stress that enough. That is literally how she is coming across. This is the hill she is dying on. But yeah, let me know what you guys think of this dumpster fire in the comments, and if you like this video, despite me being a total bitch, leave it a like because, you know, fuck it. And subscribe because I actually make consistent content now. Like, I'm kind of shocked, especially because YouTube in general is on fire the last couple of weeks because everybody's getting into shit, but I digress. Anyways, until the next video, I will see you guys later. Bye! Commander Holly plays the victim card.